Introduction. If you've opened this book, chances are that, in one way or another, you've felt that love is never simple. Regardless of your age, how many relationships you've lived through or how many you've imagined, at least once you've asked yourself, what is love really? And however you try to find a precise answer, everything turns slippery and shifting. Before you truly step into the pages of this book, you're probably wondering what you've stumbled into. You might imagine a list of motivational advice, the kind of tips and tricks you find online when someone is going through a complicated breakup. But no, love, though it's the sweetest feeling we experience, often casts us in the role of survivors. Don't worry, this won't be a rigid manual. It's more of a long, honest conversation about love, how it appears, how it grows, and how, sometimes, it gets complicated. Let's start at the beginning. What is love, really? You probably have your own definition. Most of us do. A heart that beats faster, butterflies in your stomach, a wild longing for the other when they're not near, or perhaps the feeling of home when they are. Romantic love is that whispered "I adore you" in your ear and, at the same time, the comfortable silence when you sit together without saying a word. It's something you recognize when you feel it, and yet, ironically, it's damn hard to put into words. However precisely we try to define it, it slips through our fingers like sand. Why is it so hard? Because love isn't a single feeling, but a whole bouquet of emotions and experiences. At once it can mean burning passion, tenderness and deep friendship, but also fear, the fear of losing someone dear, or even jealousy and vulnerability. Love can lift you to the highest peaks of happiness and sometimes hurl you into the deepest valleys of suffering. The ancient Greeks used several terms for different forms of love: eros for passionate love, philia for friendship, agape for selfless, spiritual love. Even so, none of these words managed to fully capture the mystery. In other words, love has many faces, sometimes contradictory, but together they make up the marvelous and complicated experience of loving someone. Over time, wise minds from every field have tried to unravel the mystery of love. Philosophers have exalted it or dissected it from every angle, from Plato, who saw love as a search for the lost half, to more modern thinkers like Erich Fromm, who believed love is an art to be learned and practiced, not just a passive emotion. Psychologists have offered theories and intriguing studies. Some argue that the way we love as adults has its roots in childhood, in how we were loved by our parents. Others have broken love down into components, for instance, passion, intimacy, commitment, like the ingredients of a recipe for fulfilled love. And biologists and doctors, well, they've discovered that when you're in love, your brain behaves as if it were high on happiness. In other words, science shows us that love is chemistry as well as poetry. But do these explanations, however logical and captivating, manage to capture the magic of that moment when two gazes meet and feel that something special has sparked there? Probably not entirely. A brief look at history and culture shows that love has always captivated the human imagination. Even the oldest myths speak of its power and mystery. In Greek mythology, for instance, Eros is the god of love who looses his arrows at mortal hearts without warning, while Aphrodite, goddess of beauty and love, can rouse unstoppable passions among gods and humans alike. For the ancient Greeks, love mattered so much that they personified it as capricious deities, a sign they saw it as an immense force, at times a blessing, at other times a bittersweet source of chaos. Over the centuries, the idea of romantic love has evolved and been reinterpreted again and again. In the Middle Ages, for example, the ideal of courtly love flourished, knights and ladies living almost impossible loves, sung by troubadours in poems and ballads. Medieval legends like Tristan and Isolde, or later plays such as Romeo and Juliet, showed us that people have always revered true love as something sacred, worth fighting for against any obstacle. In the modern era, philosophy and literature have continued to explore love, from the 19th century romantics who idealized it, to contemporary thinkers who view it critically or analyze it through new lenses, feminist, existential, etc. However society has changed, one thing has remained constant: our fascination with the love between two people, a fascination that spans eras and cultures. Before we go any further, let's make one thing clear. This volume focuses exclusively on the love between two people. We will not tackle familial love between parents and children, platonic love between friends, or spiritual love for the universe or the divine. Important as those may be, we will be speaking solely about romantic love, that pull and special bond between two lovers, the kind of love that fills romances, love songs and romantic films, and at times, sleepless nights and big existential questions. We will move through psychological and biological perspectives, look at concrete situations, discuss how internet culture has changed the way we love. We live in the age of WhatsApp messages at midnight, heart emojis and declarations of love on Facebook, and together look for guideposts to help you survive the labyrinth of love. My goal is not to bury you in theory, but to accompany you on a captivating exploration. Let us meet, if only for a moment, two imaginary young people, like you or any of us. On a quiet summer evening, Michael and Jennifer are sitting on a bench in an almost empty park. They have only recently met, just a few months since fate brought them together, but in that time, each meeting has fanned the spark in their hearts even brighter. Michael gently strokes Jennifer's hand and feels his heart begin to beat faster, as it does every time she is near. Jennifer rests her head on his shoulder, smiling to herself. She feels a blend of calm and inner flutter, the calm of being beside someone who puts her at ease, and that sweet quiver of emotion that each moment together brings. "Michael," she whispers suddenly, "do you think what the two of us feel is love? Real love? Or is it just that lovely early thrill, the kind that might pass?" The boy pauses for a second, lost in thought. Jennifer's question catches him slightly off guard, though he has asked himself the same thing, silently, so many times. He looks into her eyes, sees the flicker of emotion and uncertainty there, and gently squeezes her hand. "Honestly, I don't know," Michael replies softly, searching for the right words. "I only know that when you're beside me, I feel something real." Jennifer nods, and a warm smile spreads across her face. "I feel the same," she whispers, barely audible. "I'm a little afraid to call it love, but what I feel is very strong." Michael smiles too, and in the night air, silence settles once again. The two remain in each other's arms, looking at one another and up at the star-strewn sky. Each feels a new hope in their heart, but also a small, nagging question. Could this be true love, or perhaps it's only a flash in the pan, a passing illusion? The question floats between them, unspoken aloud, yet hidden in the beating of their hearts. This imagined scene could very well be real. Perhaps you too, dear reader, have lived or will live such a moment. Sitting beside someone dear, asking yourself whether what you feel is true love or just a fleeting spark. The book you hold in your hands doesn't claim to hold magical solutions or hard and fast definitions for such questions after all. Love always keeps a measure of mystery. But in the chapters that follow, we'll try to explore this feeling together in all its facets. We'll examine romantic love from various perspectives, share experiences, and walk through the ideas of people wiser than we are, so as to gradually unravel what exactly makes a love true. So I invite you to set out with me, with an open mind and a ready heart. Let's discover together, step by step, what it truly means to love, and how a feeling so common can at the same time be the greatest enigma of our lives.